Hey gamers, Rob from ZborGaming. Hey, I apologize, I haven't recorded here in a while. I've had some technical difficulties going on lately, which has sort of put a little halt in my recording. But anyway, today we are back with another weapon guide here. This is for the new SMG that came out with Season 5, the ISO, or the ISO, however you want to call it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this weapon here. If you've been around my channel, I did another review, just basically a really quick overview of this gun. After having used it for a while now, I almost got the gun gold, got it fully leveled up. It's an average SMG at best. It's unlocked at tier 15 of the Season 5 Battle Pass. Really, it doesn't excel over any of the other SMGs, really at all. The camo requirements are pretty much standard across the SMG class. Does 36 damage to the head, 25 to the chest and stomach, and 22 to the limbs. Fairly fast fire rate, around 860 RPMs. Fairly quick ADS speed. But on the whole, the reload empties pretty slow. You can see up here all the attachment unlock levels for the ISO. And I've got some loadout suggestions. And if you hang around, I've got the recoil profiles for all those loadouts here coming up later in the video. So here are some of the advanced statistics. It has a couple different drop-off ranges. Now the one thing with the ISO is the base drop-off range is a little longer than most of the other SMGs at 16.5 meters, which that's pretty good. But one of the biggest downfalls of this weapon even really isn't the damage profile. It's the magazine capacity with only 20 bullets. You burn through ammo really fast. As far as some of the specialized attachments, like most of the weapons, it's got a handful of barrel attachments here. The Dominator barrel, you can see here it gives you a 20% range increase for your damage. And affects your ADS speed by about 2 frames. The Revolution barrel gives you a 35% damage range increase with a 2-frame ADS speed penalty, but you also get a 3% movement speed penalty. The ISO close quarter barrel, you get a very minimal ADS and movement speed boost, but you get a 10% range reduction with that bullet velocity, which affects your damage range essentially. Now your Nightshade barrel, not only does this give you a 45% range increase, it helps your recoil, gives you sound suppression, and really as far as the penalties over the Revolution or the Dominator, it's not horrible. You do have that 4% movement speed penalty, and you will definitely notice that. As far as the ammo, the 30 round mags are pretty good. I highly recommend these. Doesn't really impact your ADS speed at all, and only about 1.5% on your movement speed. Definitely steer clear of the 50 round drum mags though. I know it sounds enticing, but it comes with a very hefty 10% movement speed penalty. And you will definitely notice this. So, moving on here. On the left we have all the various attachments for the ADS speed on the ISO. Fairly standard, your close quarter barrel, your FTAC Elite ISO grip is basically your stipple grip tape. You got your TAC laser, your FTAC Vagrant, and collapsible stocks. Other than that, everything else is pretty much either not going to have an effect or it's going to hurt you. As far as your recoil, it's basically your standard attachments here. Your muzzle brake compensator, a couple of your barrels, your rubberized grip tape, which in this case they call it the ISO TAC form, and then all of your underbarrels. And I'll go through all these here in a little bit. So, if we take a look at the damage, you can see here definitely not a weapon you want to be using in Warzone. 7 to 12 bullets on a fully armored target up close. Even in hardcore modes, you're going to be doing 1, 2, 3 shots to get a kill. And in multiplayer in Warzone, anywhere from 3 to 8 shots depending on your range. On the whole, the time to kill values when compared to the other SMGs really aren't that good either. You can see this most compares to the Fennec, the MP7, and the P90. And basically outside a couple small areas here, all the other guns outperform the ISO. So it has some of the slowest time to kills and also lowest magazine size. You can also see here that it has the slowest rate of fire of all of these weapons. So really they came out with this new weapon, but frankly you're better off using any of these other SMGs, frankly, in my opinion. If we go ahead here, we take a look at the ADS speed. You can see ADS is fairly fast. It's not too bad. You'll take a look at the recoil here. It shoots straight up and then a little bit to the right. Reload really isn't too bad. Reload's fairly fast. On the whole though, it's nothing special to talk about. Here you can see that base recoil profile with the 20 rounds. It sort of kicks up and a little bit to the right. Now if we take a look at the muzzle attachments, typically the compensator outperforms the muzzle brake. But on this weapon, you can see here that the muzzle brake is actually a very viable attachment. It decreases that first shot recoil, and also you can see that you don't get as much of the side-to-side kick. It also helps with your vertical recoil. So I would probably take a look at running the muzzle brake over the compensator. So definitely consider that. If we go ahead and take a look at the barrel attachments, you can see here you don't get a whole ton of vertical recoil improvement with the barrels. You can see here that the Nightshade is probably overall your best. You do get sort of a lot less of that first kick recoil with the FSS Revolution barrel. And surprisingly, the close quarter barrel actually performed fairly well when you compare it with the base recoil. Typically, the close quarter barrels tend to have a lot more recoil, and you don't really see that here with this weapon. So frankly, any of the barrels you want to choose are pretty good, but you do lose that damage range with the close quarter barrel. If we take a look at the stock and grip attachments, now this ISO tack form, like I mentioned before, is equivalent to your rubberized grip tape, and you can see it definitely helps your recoil pattern. Both from the side to side and the vertical. You can see here that the collapsible stock, which would be equivalent to your no stock on other attachments, gives you a substantial kick after that first bullet, and then you get a lot of extra recoil as well. So be very careful when using that attachment, or at least be cognizant of the extra recoil you're going to get. Now, if we take a look at the underbarrels, on the whole, all of these performed quite well, in my opinion. You've got that recoil stabilization with the Commando foregrip. Your tactical foregrip actually had very little side-to-side recoil. It pretty much just went straight up. Your operator foregrip, ranger foregrip, merc foregrip were all about the same. Not a whole lot of difference there. So I highly recommend using really any type of foregrip on this weapon, whatever you typically like to use. Now if we take a look at a couple of the loadouts that I had on the earlier page, if you really want to focus on accuracy, take a look at this first loadout here. I use the Cronin C480 Pro Optic. Basically any of the like the VLK or the 3x optics work pretty well with this setup. That muzzle brake, the Revolution barrel, the Commando foregrip, and the ISO tack form. You can see we got a very tight recoil profile, and this dotted line sort of represents where that base recoil pattern was at. The balanced pretty much just sort of gives you a decent setup. You get extra 30 round mags. Now if you factor in that these last 10 bullets or so really wouldn't be here with the 20 round mag, you do get some recoil benefits of this loadout. Plus you get the FSS Revolution, Merc foregrip, a little extra speed with some ADS. Just a fairly well balanced loadout. The stealth build here with that 50 round drums is part of what makes it look like it has poor recoil, when in reality it doesn't. Those first 30 rounds are going to be right about in here. So it's a fairly decent blend, but keep in mind you're going to have horrible mobility with this build. It's going to be a very slow, stealthy move around the map build. Lastly, the mobility build here. We had that Merc foregrip, the close quarter barrel, the tack laser, the collapsible stock, and that basically stipple grip tape. You You can see here that your recoil isn't horrible, but you have a really big kick after that first shot. So you want to probably aim low on your first bullet, and then let those subsequent bullets hit the upper torso or the head. So again, here's just another quick look at each of the different loadouts. The balance setup here, the stealth build. Again, you can swap that 50 round drum out if you want for something else. And then the mobility build to really move around the map quickly. So that's pretty much all I had. I didn't go into super in-depth with this weapon. Frankly, I'm just going to try to get it gold and then move on to the other weapons. I think you have a lot other much better SMG choices out there in the game right now. So anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Working on my AN94 weapon guide, and I'll have that out. The other thing I want to mention here before you go is take a look in the description below. A lot of these images I'll get up on the website, ZborGaming.com. So go ahead, head on over there. I've got infographics, all sorts of information for Modern Warfare. So again, hey, thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.